Everyone should read it. Like, it's hard. It's super highbrow. And I am stupid. I'm following Nona, and Nona is not sure of who she is. But she really likes dogs. And that's all I can really tell you without ruining anything. Hey, hello team, my name is Monique. Welcome back to the Cauldron and a new reading vlog that I have started immediately after I finished my other one. Yes, thank you. In case you didn't know, this book reviews on my channel, and this is a new reading vlog. Why? Because I am reading Babel by R.F. Kuang, and I want to immortalize my reading experience. So this is a reading vlog started on Wednesday. You all are welcome. I don't know how long it's going to be. These videos, I try to keep them for a week, and then they go over however they want. So that is what we are doing. This is Babel by R.F. Kuang, which came out earlier this month, I believe. Or was it in August? I'm not entirely sure. I will put it here. It is her newest novel. It is a dark academia historical fantasy set in the 1800s, London and Oxford. We are following the orphan Robin Swift, who has been taken in by an Oxford professor who has guided him? No, who has taken him in as a ward, so to teach him about languages so that he can become a student at Oxford, and specifically at Babel, because history has been changed slightly with the adding on of silverworking, which is magic using silver and languages. And Robin is, I believe, part English, part Cantonese. He is a foreigner, and especially in this time period, that is, racism is rampant, and this book is also, it has it. It's not shying away from it, but then when does R.F. Kuang shy away from anything harsh? I'm so excited about this book. I've only heard amazing things. I am still not entirely sure of the plot other than Robin at Oxford, and then obviously there is many talks of colonialism and racism and classism and the wrongness of translation in itself, and like it even says so on my beautiful Illumicrate book, that an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. The writing is stunning. I am about 60 pages in and I am in love, and if this is not a 5-star, then I don't know what will be. So I'm super excited to start this on this beautiful Wednesday, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll update you when I have something to say. Hopefully tomorrow. Hello team, it is Thursday and I thought I'd give you a reading update. Biscuit is next to me, you can't see her. She's being a little sassy and pot because I can't sit with her on a couch all day. Biscuit is my best friend's cat, who we are cat sitting this week. Would you like to say hello? She's here. She does not like to be picked up anymore because she's a little old lady, but she is cute. Let's talk about Babel, shall we? I'm a little over 100 pages in, 120, I think. I literally just looked at that number. About 120 pages into this already, and it is stunning. I don't know why. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I knew this. It's just beautiful. I've even put tabs in that you can barely see them because they're autumnal colored, and I'm very, very excited. And like, it's literally like, the writing is so good, the characters, it has this very obvious academic feeling to it, but also as a person where English isn't their first language, and as a language and literature student. So I did English literature and creative writing at uni as like my degree. I've always wanted to return to that academic like atmosphere, and obviously this is a book about academia, but also against academia and the colorism and the innate unfairness of like high academia places, and especially Oxford. And this is just, it's so good. I thought R.F. Kuang might give us a little moment before she ran rampant with the obvious racism in here, but no, of course not, because she shies away from absolutely nothing. And Robin, who is the main character and is part Cantonese and we believe part English, obviously goes through this 18th century world in a very different way, but obviously also in a way that might seem very familiar to someone of mixed race. And it's so good. And she obviously also goes really intensely into the academia, and I have missed that. She also, it's like a love letter to languages, but also in the way that obviously translation like erases language in a way, and the way that the English in a long-standing tradition have been erasing languages and countries. And it's just, I love it a lot, and I'm like 20% in, and I don't want it to end, but I also must know what comes next. And it's just like, it seems to be like written in a way, like the timeline, like we meet Robin quite young as a 10-11-year-old, and then as he goes to university, as I believe he's 17, he might be closer to 18, and I believe we have like the timeline sort of goes back and forth. Like we get these like foreshadowing where it's like you almost get told what will happen, but also not what will happen. So it's obviously there. And it's just like, I completely understand everyone who's obsessed with this, because I am going to be intensely obsessed, and I'm already aware of it. Like I already know. And I just thought that I'd tell you guys that I am already aware of the fact that I will be obsessed about it. And it's a book that has footnotes. I love footnotes. I think that's really great. But it's a book that has academic footnotes, which is really cool. So it's like there's so much to this book, and I am ready. I feel like my feelings are gonna get hurt though, so not ready for that. But it's just, as a foreigner and as a queer person, I find myself a bit in these pages, and obviously not quite in the same way as someone of mixed race or of color might find themselves. But I love this already, and I can't wait to see what comes next. So I just finished Babel by R.F. Kuang. I don't have any words. I don't have any words for this book. Like it's obviously a 5-star, massive 5-star. That was not what I was expecting. I should have expected some of it, but like, I'm not okay about this. This is such a smart book. Like, it's so intellectual, obviously, because it's about languages and academics and Oxford, but also colonialism and inherent racism and classism. This book draws on much of it, and I'm a bit speechless. It's a really beautifully written, very important story in a lot of ways, and I don't know how to feel about it. Like, yeah, this was everything that everyone has been saying, and then but I didn't actually really know what this book was going to be about, and yet it's all inspiring what R.F. Kuang can do with words, and I don't know what else to say. It's just so good. 5 stars. Look at me reading on my TBR. It's also Friday. Yay. I'm gonna go into London tomorrow, hopefully, because I saw someone on TikTok who went to Forbidden Planet and found a Nona the Ninth myth, and I need Nona now. I need fun. This was not fun. This was hurtful. And that's the update. So I hope you guys, I don't know how to speak about this book. You should read it. Absolutely. Everyone should read it. Like, it's hard. It's super highbrow, and I am stupid, but it's so good, and you should all read it. Also, I love how you can't really see my tabs, but you can still see the thing. So there is that. I don't have anything else. My brain has shot out. You're welcome. Good morning, team. It is Monday, and I know I've been gone this weekend. That's just what happens, because I went to London on Saturday, because I saw someone on TikTok find Nona the Ninth early in Forbidden Planet, and I have Nona the Ninth already pre-ordered from Forbidden Planet, but when I looked at it online, it said that it wasn't coming out till the 30th, even though it comes out on the 13th. And then I was like, if it doesn't come out till the 30th, then I won't get it till 2.5 weeks after everyone else, and I'm going back to Denmark for a week over my birthday. And I was like, I have to have Nona. So I had some self-control. I didn't take a day off to go into London midday, but obviously some stuff happened last week. And there was a ton of people in London, and it was very stressful, but I had a very nice day other than trying to get out of Queen's Park, which was a right old nightmare. So I went and got Nona. But before I did that, I did start another book on the train. This is an arc from Glance that I won on Instagram. This is The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrews, which is like a dark academia, magical realism book about a young deaf woman who has always been hearing shadows, and she gets this scholarship to a school where apparently there's a special track for people who can go between worlds. And we're also following another character who apparently died when he was 7 and got brought back, and the one rule that he's been told at this school, that when he finds out that Delaney gets there, Delaney is the female main character, is that he has to stay away from her. And obviously he's not going to do that. I find it really atmospheric already. I read about 40 pages, and then I went in and I found Nona in Forbidden Planet, and it's just, look at her and look at Noodle, and I was very excited, and I obviously immediately started reading it, and then I did nothing but read yesterday, and I finished it last night, slightly late. I was meant to go to bed because I am now an old lady and I go to bed at like 10:30, and I have no words. I obviously power read. I only read about like 80 pages the first day, and then I read the rest. It's 477 pages of weirdness. This, if you don't know, is Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, which is the third book in the Locked Tomb series. It was a book that sort of came out of nowhere, as we all thought that the Locked Tomb was a trilogy. We were all sort of equally awaiting Electro the Ninth, and then Nona just sort of popped in out of nowhere. And I cannot explain to you what this book is or what this series is. This series is one of my favorite of all time. Helloo the Ninth is one of my favorite books of all time, and this is yet another mindfuck. It's very, very different. So if you've read both Gideon the Ninth and Helloo the Ninth, those are two very different books. And Nona is yet again just something completely different, and I'm most likely gonna have to reread the last 100 pages just to, you know, like try and get a sense for it, and then I'm going to reread Gideon and Helloo. I thought I was gonna reread them prior to reading this, but more than likely what's gonna happen is that I reread those two, and then I'm gonna reread Nona again this year to try and see if I can figure it out. And I had some ideas, and then I was wrong, and then I was right, and then I was really happy. This book is really funny. So Helloo isn't as funny as Gideon was, personally to me, but more heart-wrenching, and this is like laugh out loud really funny again, like Gideon was. And I love this so much. This was another absolute solid 5-star. I'm not sure whether I can tell you about what this book is about without spoiling part of the series, but you can start with book 1, which is Gideon the Ninth. It's a murder mystery in space with lesbian necromancers. We're following Gideon, who is an orphan who has grown up on the 9th planet in the year of something weird in the Necrolord Prime. I love this book so very much. And she's trying to get away. She does not want to be there, but she sort of gets stuck into an agreement with the first daughter of the 9th house, Harrowhawk, to be her cavalier, to go on this quest to become a lictor. And a lictor is like the inner circle of this universe's guard. And to do that, they go to this haunted, crumbling mansion where there are all these puzzles and codes and they have to figure something out, and then people start dying, which they already are because the whole universe is sort of like surrounding necromancy and bones and bone magic, and it's absolutely wonderful, and it's very, very funny, and it's just it's many, many things. And this book is something completely different. We're following Nona, and Nona is not sure of who she is. She really likes dogs, and that's all I can really tell you without ruining anything. And I love this book so very much, so much. But I thought I'd also share with you guys my my little haul that I got in London, because it was stressful and also because I wanted to. Let's start off with the Forbidden Planet haul. We obviously have Not in the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, beautiful, wonderful. We have Cackle by Rachel Harrison, which is sort of rom-commy, witchy, fun, maybe not rom-com, which is sort of like witchy, seasony, atmospheric, fun. I believe we are following a young woman who goes to like a little town and gets befriended by this like very self-confident woman, but everyone in town says that she's sort of weird, and it just looks delightful and feels nice and spooky, and I want to read it. Then we have Not Good for Maidens by Tori Bovolino, which is about a young girl who goes to the goblin market to get back her aunt. And I believe her mother and her aunt has already like escaped the goblin market previously, and I'm very excited about it. It looks super good. Then we have A Small Favors by Erin A. Craig, who wrote what's it called, House of Salt and Sorrow, which was like a 12 Dancing Princesses like retelling, and I really love that. And this seems like to be another small village mystery, magic, weirdness. There are monsters in the forest, and I love that sort of thing, especially once the leaves start falling. And then we have a signed edition of The Thousand Eyes by A.K. Lockwood, which is the sequel to The Unspoken Name, which is like this very weird multi-dimensional sci-fi fantasy where we're following an orc mercenary who used to be a nun / was meant to be a sacrifice. And I love the first book, and I'm very excited about reading the second one, but I will have to reread the first one because it's real weird. And obviously Tamsin Muir has written, I can't recommend it enough, and both A.K. Lockwood and Tamsin Muir write weird stuff, and I love it so much. Then I went to the very big Waterstones in London and Piccadilly, which is several floors of yay, and I got some more books. So I finally picked up an edition of This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Moter and Max Gladstone, which is this very short time-traveling romance between two different women people. I'm not entirely sure, but everyone always raves about this, and I've been meaning to read it for quite a while. Then I also picked up some N.K. Jemisin because I miss her, and this is How Long Till Black Future Month, which I believe is a series of short stories, all by N.K. Jemisin, and I love N.K. Jemisin. The Broken Earth trilogy is like stunning, and everyone should read it. And I also I want this. I really like the spine. It's a good spine. And then I also picked up The Blood Trials by N.E. Davenport, which is a dystopian new adult fantasy, where I believe that we are following a young woman who, to revenge her grandfather, sort of takes part in these games. And I'm just like very excited about it. It's nice and chunky as well. And then I accidentally sort of found The Virago Book of Witches by Shukra Hussain, which I believe is yet another series of retellings of sort of witchy women and witchy folklore. I'm very excited about it. I really loved God, what's it called again? Foxfire Wolfskin by Sharon A. Blackie, which was another sort of retelling of folklore. And I love a good folklore, and I love these covers, so I'm just picking them up as I sort of run around because I want to, and I felt like it. So yeah, 9 books I came home with, which was not the plan, but that was what happened. And I'm now going to return to Whispering Dark after my little Nona escapade. Maybe I'm just going to reread Gideon, who knows. Hello team, it is Wednesday, and it is almost cool enough for me to be back in the Udi. Not quite. I need to change out of it because I'm actually too hot. But it's Wednesday, and I thought I'm just gonna finish this vlog because I I'm not really reading. I was gonna go back to reading The Whispering Dark, and I did not. I started rereading Gideon the Ninth again, but like I've I've actually moved the tab from my hardback edition from my last time that I reread, and put them in here. But now I am actually I'm highlighting and I'm writing notes on the side. Not particularly good notes, mainly just funny and that's hot and stuff like that, because I find that hilarious. And I've wanted to, because I have my hardback editions obviously, and paperback edition, and I bought the Illumicrate special editions, which I'm very, very, very excited about arriving. Well, I think it's like October, November, maybe, but I'm not sure. But I'm very, very excited about it. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say. I love this book very, very much, and I'm just like I did enjoy this, but I feel out of it, so I think I might have to like restart or something to get back into it. But I know myself, I'm just gonna reread this, and then I'm gonna reread Helloo, and then I'm gonna cry. But I might start a new reading vlog tomorrow, but I might not, because we're going to Denmark next week, which is very exciting. So that's the update, and I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe button at the same time so you don't miss out on any other videos from me. You can also click the little bell to give you a notification when I put up a new video, which I am trying to do more regularly. But just remember that I'm proud of you and you're doing great. I'll see you soon.